Welcome to Give Me 5 Minutes with Fort Smith City Director Neil Martin, where we talk about the events that happened last week and we look ahead to what's going on this week. So last week we had a abnormal Monday meeting, and that's where we sat down to talk about the new needs for the 2024 budget. And we're actually voting on those for this meeting coming up on Tuesday. But we had a lot of good discussion and kind of came to some agreement on certain things. So those items are being pushed forward to our March 26th meeting this Tuesday. And as always, it's at the Blue Lion, 101 North 2nd Street in downtown Fort Smith. I encourage you to come out and be a part and listen to some of the things that your directors are talking about. It's a pretty jam-packed agenda that we've got Tuesday. A few of the items I'm going to talk about, like I always say, I encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. There you can see the full agenda. You can watch previous meetings. You can see how each of your director voted. I encourage you to do that. But a few of the items we're going to be discussing is the results of our meeting last week, where we're amending our operating budget for new personnel and new capital needs. We'll be establishing pay rates for our city employees, and then also looking at retirement contributions and maybe increasing that a little bit. So that's all from our last week meeting. But we're also going to be looking to purchase property at 8200 Highway 271 South. That is the old Crain Kia dealership and a great place for new training facility for the police department, cadet training, and a centralized location for city vehicle maintenance. We did purchase the old Whole Hog barbecue location for our second precinct. This looks like it's going to be a better spot for that. So it looks like the Whole Hog facility is going to be a 911 facility, and we'll get reimbursed for those dollars associated with that. So we'll also be talking about signing an agreement with a company called Make My Move that will recruit remote workers to the city of Fort Smith. A really cool opportunity there that are going to bring people here, a high-paying job, folks that are being paid well. They'll move here and live and work and be part of our community. So that's pretty neat. We will be voting to amend our budget to accept grant funds. And this is for the comprehensive opioid abuse program, and it's going to allow us to be able to hire 2 new officers and 2 peer counselors to help with drugs and those types of situations. So that's a pretty neat opportunity for us. We will be voting on an amendment to an agreement with Bashir's Construction for providing construction management services for the Creekmore Park pool, bathhouse, and diving well enclosure. We've had a number of discussions about this over the last few months and maybe a year or so. $6.1 million. It's a heavy price tag, but this is something that the people have reached out to us about, and our parks budget would be funding that. So we'll have more discussion about it, but I know that there has been some questions related to that. We will be voting to approve a reversion of ownership of the Bost facility at 1801 South 74th. They are moving out of that facility, and the contract stipulates, the contract that was signed years and years ago, says if they move out or it's not being used for its intent, and it's not being used for its intended original purpose, it'll revert back to the city. So that's a piece of property that we didn't expect we would have. Now there's some different opportunity there. We'll be voting for engineering services agreement for the 2024 Streets, Bridges, and Drainage Sales Tax Program. So this includes resurfacing of streets on the north side, so 41st from Grand to North O, Division, but also on the south and east side. So Brook and Hill, Meandering Way, Jenny Lind. Always like seeing streets resurfaced and put in a much better condition. We will be voting to accept a bid for construction of Creekmore Park sidewalks and drainage improvements. So replacing the sidewalks that are on the interior of Creekmore Park. They flood, they're cracked, in bad shape. So we'll be voting to tear those out and put new ones in. Also, something that's very interesting, we'll be voting to accept a bid for construction of the Maybranch Greenway. This greenway is going to be a 4-mile 10-foot wide paved greenway that will connect the Greg Smith River Trail to the Kelly Park ball fields and eventually to the Brickyard Park. That's the side of the former Acme Brick property. This is only a portion of that, so that's the master plan. A really neat opportunity, and I think a lot of people who ride bikes, who run, who walk, exercise, connectivity in the middle of town. So this is pretty neat. I'm looking forward to seeing and discussing more about that. And then also we will be voting to accept a bid for construction of the Creekmore Park miniature train tunnel. So most of you guys that have been out to Creekmore Park, the train is not functional. The track has been pulled up. They're doing some maintenance, fixing those tracks, but we'll be voting on putting a train tunnel there. So when you ride the train, you'll be going through a tunnel. So a lot of cool things. Again, I encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. There you can see the full agenda and see all the things that are coming in front of your board of directors. So that's it. I encourage you to come out and watch us tomorrow at the Blue Line, and we'll do this again. Well, maybe we won't do this next Sunday because it'll be Easter Sunday, so we might move it back a week. But I look forward to seeing you really soon on Give Me 5.